So what we're going to do here in this lesson is we're going to take all of our power chords on E and A strings, and we're going to turn those into major and minor intervals. And of course later on you can turn these into full major minor bar chords. But before we get started, what you need to do is memorize this order of majors and minors. It's major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, and then diminished. That gives us all of our chords within a certain key. You know, let's say it's A. You know, we got 7 notes in there: A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and it starts over on A again. So again, you have major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, and the last one's diminished. Now, that chord many times a minor is substitute for. They substitute a minor for that particular chord because it's a very ugly sounding chord. Like here's a very ugly sounding, so a lot of times, you know, a minor will be substituted, or sometimes a flatted major too, or a lot of times they just leave out that chord totally. But so you can kind of look at it in a couple ways. You can think of it as major, then there's 2 minors, 2 majors, and then 2 minors, and then remind yourself the very last minor is technically a diminished chord. And then you can look at that, and then if you've heard of a blues progression 1-4-5, you can think of that. The 1-4-5 is going to be major, and all the rest are going to be minor, except for, again, the last one's really technically a diminished. And that's a full triadic chord. Now what we're doing is we're not actually playing 3 notes within a chord. We're playing 2 notes, first and thirds, either a major third or minor third. So we are actually not going to be worried about the diminished, because a diminished means that we're adding another note, which is the 5th, into the mixture. So what we're really looking at is major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, minor. So get that down. You have to get that memorized. It's a must in here. So I'm going to bring the camera down, and then we'll go ahead and take a look at it. Okay, so hopefully you've already learned all your power chords, you know, on E and A strings. If you haven't, then make sure you go through them and learn that first. You know, both up and back down. You know, each string. And A. And of course, being able to do them mixed, you know. You know, so forth and back down. So you should be able to play those up and back down. That was the key of C. Hopefully you can do it in the key of G also. And that's what we're going to focus on mainly in here is the key of G, because our 1 chord is here, our root chord. And and then we're going to go ahead and use that and start applying our majors and minor, you know, intervals to that. So okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So first of all, we got to take a look. What is a major and minor interval? Bring this down just a little bit more. So what we got here is within a particular scale, if you're not sure what you know is within a chord, is contained within a chord, what notes, you're basically plucking out the 1st, 3rd, and 5th notes out of a scale to form a chord. Now we're actually not playing technically what's a chord. It's called a chord. A chord really is 3 notes. We're playing something called a dyad, which is a 2-note combination of notes. Technically, power chord is a dyad, but it's just commonly called a chord. Even when you add this finger in here, you have a 3-finger power chord. It's still really a dyad because there's only 2 notes in here. There's a root, a fifth, and a root right here. And that's all that's in there, 2 different notes. This is just the root again, up an octave. So now we got to turn these into majors and minors. So major interval is, and first we got to talk about actually what these notes are. So if we have a scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8 or 1. What we do is you have 7 real notes in there, and then this one is a repeat of it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then again or 1 again. So in a chord, say an A minor chord, these notes in here are actually our first note in the scale, our 3rd note, and our 5th note. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we got 6, 7, and then there's a 1 there again. So the 1, 3, and 5, the 1st, 3rd, and 5th notes within a scale are your chords, are your notes for a particular chord. And in this case, this is going to be A minor. So we have A, B, C, D, E. So our first note is an A, 3rd note is a C, and then our 5th is an E. Let's take a look at an A minor chord. Here's an A, this note right here, that's an E, that note right there is another A, here's a C, and then we have our open E. Got A's, C's, and E's. Yeah, they're a little mixed up, but they're only A's, C's, and E's. And that's how it works with all the different chords. It's just 3 different notes taken out of a particular scale. The 1st, 3rd, and 5th notes within a scale are taken out, and they're played together, and that's what forms a chord. So now we are actually going to be when we play a power chord, again, look at what we got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 1st, 5th, 6, 7. We're back to 1 again. So we have a 1, a 5, and a 1. And that's all we have within our power chords. Now, it doesn't matter, like a power chord or a 1st and a 5th, tones, that's not major or minor, and that's why we can play the same formation all over the neck. We don't have to change anything. We're just changing the different area on the neck we're playing, but we don't have to change this formation at all. The note that actually determines whether something's major or minor is our 3rd. 1, 2, 3. This note right there, that's a minor. Major would be up 1. But of course, these notes are on the same string, so we can't really play those at the same time. So we're going to play 1 note on the E string and 1 note on the A string. So remember we said here's our A, here's our C right here, that's minor, but to make it major, it's got to be up 1, so it's actually C sharp. So we got an E. If you count up our notes, A, B, C, C sharp. Here's our A and our C sharp. So that is a major 3rd interval. And to make a minor chord, you just take the major 3rd and you bring it down by a half step. Here's our major 3rd. We bring it down by a half step. Here, this one's more happy sounding, major 3rd. This is more sad sounding. So there you go. Major 3rd, minor 3rd. Doesn't matter on what string. Again, same configuration. Here is our major 3rd interval. Here's a minor third interval. And that's it. Happy sounding, sad sounding. So, we're going to do this in the key of G major. So hopefully you know how to play all your power chords in the key of G major. If not, you want to go back and learn that and get familiar with that. So here's our G. What did we say the first one is? We got major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, minor. First one's major. So we're going to play a major interval here. That's G. And then remember we have two minors, major, minor, minor. So we're going to go over, when you hit our A, we're going to make a minor interval. Then our third one is going to be minor again. Then C, we got major, minor, minor. Now we're back to major. Remember there's two majors, major, minor, minor, and major, major. E is going to be minor. And then our F sharp is going to be minor. And then finally it brings us back up to our G again, major. So again, got major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, minor, and back to the beginning again, major. And that's it. And that's at G. There's also an F sharp. Because up here we played F sharp minor. So F sharp minor would be this one. If we had an imaginary fret, we'd be playing like this. But it's basically this one, an open string. We're kind of going backwards because here's where it starts, but there's a couple chords before that, so we can kind of look up here to G and go backwards. Okay, that's a minor. The E is supposed to be a minor. So, and then when you do the E, you have an open E, so I can't go any further this way. So you can start out with actually a full-on E minor chord. So this is really the sixth chord within our, and these are called diatonic chords, by the way. This is going to be the sixth chord in the order of diatonic chords. 6. Here's 7. Again, just hitting that and hitting the open string below it. And then finally, here we are at the beginning again. Major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, minor, back to major again. And there you go. There's all of your major and minor third intervals going up on the E string. Okay, so now let's take a look at these on the A string. So, we're starting here on A, and remember, A is not going to be major, and then B minor, C minor. Remember, we have to stick with what we figured out on the E string, and we're in the key of G major, so G is going to be 1 no matter what. And so we got to figure out what is our major and minors when we went up here on the E string. So if G is 1, this is our major. We figured out what A is minor. So A has to be minor. So we're actually starting on chord number 2 of our diatonic chords. Major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, minor. And diatonic, not doing our diatonic chords, we're doing our minor, major, minor intervals. So we are going to start with A minor, because A is all the way this way, and we can't play a minor or major or minor interval this way. So we're just going to play a minor here. So G would have been major. A is going to be minor. Then we got B. B is a minor too. Major, minor, minor. Then we have two majors. Major, minor, minor, major, major. So we have C major. D major. Then that was 5 or 6 is going to be major, minor, minor, major, major, We got to do minor, then minor again, which gives us all of them. You know, we had major. We start with minor, minor, major, major, minor, minor, and we go up one more, and we're on 1. We may as well go up to our 12th fret. So 1 and 2 is minor. So we had major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, minor, back to major. We'll do one more, minor. And there are all of your major and minor third intervals on the A string. So you got to make sure you keep that organized. Major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, minor for our third intervals. And when you switch to a different string, you got to make sure that you actually you're not starting right off in the first chord thinking, okay, this is major, next one's minor. No, this one's an A. You know, we're starting on the A string, on the A note. And A is our second one in there. Major, minor. So we have to start on minor. Then go down minor, major, major, minor, minor, back to major, and then minor again. So make sure you make that distinction. So what you can do here too, which is kind of cool, is you just mix it. Mix things up. You know, do some power chords, some, you know, intervals. You know, you want to do everything, you know, with major and minor intervals. And I particularly like more of the major third intervals. You know, I do a lot of minor, but that thing I was jamming in, you know, in the beginning, yeah, I kind of took a this chord right here, you know, power chord, and then I went over here, and we in this. By the way, this we went through all the stuff in the key of G major. But now, what I did over here is I actually played in the key of C major. So I played, that jam I did was in a different key. But at this point, you should be able to know what all your chords are within the key of C major also. So you start right here, power chord, and then went over here. I know in the key of C major, we have a C right here. So that's a major interval. And then I put that major interval through it way up here. We're in the key of C major. We have an F major in there. We have F major, and we also have a G major. So I had power chord, C major. Then they have something a little bit different there, and then I went my G right here, and then I added some extra notes in here, because you can use all these different, you know, the scales. You can connect the chords to the scales. So in the key of C, you have this scale right here. So you can play around with that. You know, you got a major C major interval right here. You have that, same with over here. Yep. And then what I did here, you know, and I went up here to this major interval. So I kind of mix things up. So yeah, actually, yeah, I missed that the first time around. I do play that extra notes, so add that in there so it can make it sound a little bit more interesting. You know, so you're not, you know, sorry. So instead of, it sounds okay doing that, but when you add these more, sounds a lot better than, or sounds okay, but kind of is a little bit cooler going. Gives a little bit different of a sound. And then I went into the other part. I did these minor intervals. Back into that. So yeah, gives a little bit different sound than instead of just jamming on some power chords, you can make that sound more interesting. So you can spice up things, give it a little bit different of a sound, make things sound more interesting instead of all just being power chords all the time. So yeah, that's basically it on that. Just take the your power chords, whether it's in the key of C, key of G, or whatever. It's probably good to start with key of G because your one chord is right here, and then kind of you can easily see it up here, over the whole neck laid out for you. C is way over here, and it starts in the key of C. The first chord E is over here, is the third and fourth and fifth. So you're starting to one up here. You want to get used to the key of C, being able to do that and replace those. But key of G is easy to see everything over the whole span of the neck just to start out with. So either way, when we want to do key of C or key of G, grab those power chords and now turn those into major and minor third intervals. Just go up like we did, and then just create some jams with it. Mix up some power chords, add some third intervals in there, and get creative with it. And yeah, get used to that. Then after that, you can turn those into full major and minor bar chords. But yeah, get used to these third intervals because, in a majorly like a power chord kind of jam, you can spice up stuff a little bit, make it sound a little bit more interesting. So that's it. There's a little thing on the on third intervals that you can mess around with, and that should keep you pretty busy there messing around with that stuff. So if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, we'll see you in the next lesson.